welcome to episode 125 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivets. So I'm a little late on this week's episode. As you might have heard last week, I was on vacation, so I didn't get to record. I didn't bring any of my stuff with me, so I didn't see last week's episode of NXT until this morning. I did see TakeOver Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon as I was traveling to Pittsburgh, and what a great show. It was one of the best TakeOver specials. I mean, there really isn't a bad TakeOver special, but with my expectations a little low going into this one, it far exceeded everything that I thought that it could be. Great show, great surprises, great matches. So yeah, let's get right into it. The show kicked off with Johnny Gargano and Andrade Cien Almas. Almas was in control for a little bit. He was doing his taunt in the ropes, but he received a super kick. Gargano landed a slingshot DDT. He went for a second spear through the ropes, but Almas blocked it into a facebuster. Almas lifted Gargano up and slammed him into the corner. He hit the running knees, got a near fall. Crowd was actually really hot for this match to start off. It went a lot longer than people expected, and it was just a brutal match. Gargano landed two super kicks, tossed Almas headfirst into the corner, and this is where Zelina Vega tossed Gargano a shirt. He got distracted a little bit, and Almas took advantage with the dropkick and the hammerlock DDT to get the win. Great match. Crowd was behind Gargano from the beginning, playing that whole sympathy story since he got turned on by Tommaso Ciampa. They were popping for the big moves and the near falls. When I made my predictions, I said that this match can go either direction. I wanted Gargano, but I wouldn't be surprised if Almas won, and he did. And it did look like it was a DIY t-shirt that distracted Gargano, so they're still playing up that storyline. Even with Ciampa out, they're still getting people invested into that potential match next year. And it makes sense for Almas to win, honestly, because they're building him up as a number 2 or number 3 heel, and Gargano can fight from underneath, get that sympathy factor. So that he didn't need the win right away, and Almas needed it, because if he would have lost another TakeOver special, it would have been whatever. He needed a big win here. Before the next match, they panned to the skyboxes where Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan were sitting with what looked like Roderick Strong, No Way Jose, Peyton Royce, and Billy Kay. Could be some potential call-ups. Who knows? Second match, Authors of Pain versus Sanity. Before the match, Corey Graves came out and joined the announce team, which made it a 4-man booth. Eric Young pulled out a table as the two teams brawled before the match began. Young actually jumped on the apron and took his part in the match, replacing Killian Dane as Alexander Wolf's partner. Akam tossed Young to Rezar for a front slam. Authors of Pain hit a suplex, sit-out powerbomb combo. Two great double-team moves. Nikki Cross got involved by holding Eric Young as they went for the Tower of Doom spot, led to Rezar powerbombing Akam. Young hit a huge diving elbow. Nikki Cross and Paul Ellering went face-to-face in the ring. Nikki Cross dove to the outside, but she was caught by Akam. Killian Dane then ran around the ring at the two of them, crashing them through the table. Sanity then hit Rezar with the assisted jumping neckbreaker to win the NXT Tag Team titles. They didn't get much time to celebrate because after the match, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly attacked both teams. They hit Wolf with super kicks, and they hit Young with a heel kick brainbuster combination. As you guys have heard leading up to this match, I was not expecting a big thing. I didn't like this build leading into the match, but it started off hot with the brawl. Young joining was a nice surprise, but it really didn't get anyone that excited. Match had some great spots, cool tag team moves. Cross and Ellering facing off was pretty cool, and then Killian Dane slamming her through a table, essentially. That was awesome. The crowd cheered when Sanity won, but I'm sure that's more of the title change, not because they're fans of Sanity, because that quickly changed when Red Dragon ran out and attacked them all. It was a great way to introduce a new tag team into the NXT division, because God knows they needed it. I don't know if Authors of Pain get called up now, and we just go with Red Dragon and Sanity, or 3 teams, TM61 still looming back there. So Red Dragon interfering here just breathed new life into the division. Neville, Kalisto, and Shinsuke Nakamura were shown at ringside for the next match of Hideo Itami and Aleister Black. This time, JR, Jim Ross, was introduced as a 4th commentator for this match. The band, I think they were called Code Orange, played a live version of Aleister Black's song, and he walked through the band. It was actually really cool. Bell rang, both men hit some big boots at the same time, and they went back and forth with some kicks. Hideo mocked Aleister Black's sitting pose. Black made a comeback with the springboard moonsault. That barely caught Hideo. He kind of had to move into position to get it. Hideo hit a super Falcon Arrow. They traded some strikes. Black caught him with a bicycle knee. Hideo hit a second Falcon Arrow for another near fall, and he continued with the hesitation dropkick. Went for the GTS, but Alistair escaped. Hideo went for a clothesline, but Black ducked and won with the Black Mass. This was the hard-hitting match we all knew it would be. They throw kicks like it's no one's business, and the near fall is a super Falcon Arrow. It was another great match. They literally kicked the shit out of each other here. At one point, Black started bleeding from his nose, and I think it was like halfway through the match. It did slow down a little bit with Hideo using some rest holds. Kind of took me out of the match, kind of slowed things down. But I think if they cut that out, it would have been a nice, tight, stronger match, and it would have been my match of the night. But other than that, it was another great match. And with Hideo losing here, it's kind of tough if he gets called up to the main roster as well. He's done pretty much everything that he could do in NXT, save for winning the NXT Championship. But I think that time's passed for him. I think coming to I think SmackDown would be the best bet, because if he's on Raw, that 205 Live division is calling his name, unfortunately. So if he could go to SmackDown, maybe him and, I'm trying to think who's on that roster, him and Sami Zayn have a great match. AJ Styles, that would be another fun one to watch on the SmackDown brand. Sasha, Becky, and Bayley were sitting ringside for the NXT Women's Championship match between Asuka and Ember Moon. Mauro Ranallo listed Asuka's accomplishments. It's her 8th title defense and her 10th takeover overall, most in NXT history. Ember hit a dropkick before the lights even came back on and immediately went after Asuka. She hit a cannonball splash from the second rope. Asuka hit a German suplex into the bottom turnbuckle. She then had the Asuka lock in, but Ember rolled out, got a 2 count. She pulled out the Eclipse. Everyone lost their shit, but Asuka was able to kick out. Ember went back up, but Asuka using the referee as a shield. Ember dove. Luckily, the referee moved out of the way and landed a crossbody, but Asuka rolled her over, had the tights. The referee saw it, so he didn't count the pin. She was screaming at the ref. Asuka received the super kick from Ember Moon. Another near fall, and Ember just started throwing a fit, kind of just throwing a tantrum there. After another pin attempt, Asuka popped up and locked in the Asuka lock to get the win. As Asuka walked away, Ember was still in the ring. She was upset, a little bummed out, and the crowd gave her a standing ovation. Right from the bell, this match was on fire. Again, another high-impact match. They didn't waste any time getting going. Asuka did use some rest holds, similar to Hideo Itami, but it fit because that's her character. She was playing to her strategy, not just being a heel like Hideo was. It played up because her finishing move is a submission, so obviously that worked. The crowd did want to see Ember win. I believe that she wanted to see the streak. They wanted to see the streak end, especially after the Eclipse. That near fall was really close. I thought we had it because we never seen anyone kick out of the Eclipse, and Asuka received it once, I think, before the contract signing, so seeing her hit it again kind of hinted at the finish, but no, she couldn't put her away, and this might have been the match of the night. The main event was good. I'll go over that in a bit, but I think of the 4 matches so far, this was the best match. And at this point, 2-2 in my predictions with with Asuka retaining, and who won? Aleister Black won as well. Before the main event, Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe were shown at ringside. I'm actually surprised they didn't show Sami Zayn, because they seem to do that every time Kevin Owens is there. Sami Zayn's somewhere behind him or next to him. For the main event, Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre for the NXT Championship. McIntyre had a traditional Irish entrance with some drums and bagpipes. For Bobby Roode, there was a virtual piano playing on the screen, and then it led up to his song playing. They went face-to-face. McIntyre, again, had some size over Bobby Roode here. He kind of had to look up at him. Drew hit a tilt-a-whirl slam on the apron, and Roode came back with a neckbreaker between the ropes and a modified blockbuster from the apron. Got a near fall after an air raid crash. Drew hit the Future Shock DDT, another near fall, but the ref kind of telegraphed that early. He kind of tucked his arm in before Roode even kicked out. Roode landed a powerbomb out of the corner for a near fall. McIntyre hit the Claymore. He held Roode from rolling out of the ring like he tends to do, but Roode got his foot on the rope. Drew hit a dive from the outside, which barely hit Roode, and as he crashed onto the floor. Roode kind of did like a tornado DDT to hit the Glorious DDT for another near fall. He then hit his second Glorious DDT, held on again, going for a third, but Drew escaped, hit the Claymore, and won the NXT Championship. After the match, as Drew was celebrating, Red Dragon appeared on the apron. Drew was walking towards them as Adam Cole ran out from the crowd and attacked Drew McIntyre. Red Dragon held him as Adam Cole connected with a super kick. You couldn't tell who it was immediately when he ran down, but apparently Mauro Ranallo has supervision, and as soon as he hit the ring, he let us know that it was Adam Cole. You obviously knew that Adam Cole signed with NXT, that he was going to debut some point, but in this quick succession of events, you really couldn't tell it was Adam Cole until he kind of stood up. Crowd was quiet for the first part of the match, though. With what they saw with the Hideo Itami Aleister Black and the women's matches, it kind of made sense. They needed to come down a little bit, but in the second half, they picked things up. You had the Future Shock DDT and the numerous glorious DDTs for the false finishes. Wasn't the best NXT title match that I've ever seen, but it served the purpose. We got Bobby Roode out of the title picture, introduced a new heel in in Adam Cole, and we kind of see a new faction with Red Dragon and Cole as well. And that match should be great between Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole. I am definitely looking forward to that. Like I said at the beginning, it was another great TakeOver special. Opening match was exciting. Tag team title match exceeded my, albeit low, expectations. Black and Hideo was a hard-hitting fight. The women's match, probably the best Ember Moon, and probably the best Asuka match that I've seen. That was my match of the night. And the main event, again, really cool. I would have been alright if I was able to go, but watching this at home, I still enjoyed it. I didn't miss it or anything like that. It would have been cool to see Adam Cole and everything live, but seeing it on TV, not knowing the results, I enjoyed it anyway. Also, I'm going to review, before I end the show, this past week's episode of NXT, as I just finished watching it. We got a video package recapping some of the TakeOver highlights. It was announced that Pete Dunne and Wolfgang will take on Tyler Bate and Trent Seven in the main event. Also, Peyton Royce will take on Sarah Logan. No Way Jose made his entrance for a supposed match, but he was attacked by Lars Sullivan. That kind of put Lars on the map as being the next heel to be up and coming in the NXT roster. Jose is likely on his way out, so he's putting over the new heel. Unfortunately, he was attacked, didn't get to have a match, but you got to do it somehow. We got first was a Gargano and Almas video recap. Gargano was then interviewed backstage, and we got a recap of the women's title match. Asuka gave like a faux press conference backstage. It looked kind of cheesy. She was just standing there, and I mean, what she said was important. I liked it, but it was just hokey the way they went about it. Pete Dunne and Wolfgang cut a promo backstage. Kind of felt very scripted, that they were just going through the motions. I didn't feel any passion behind what they were saying. Peyton Royce defeated Sarah Logan. Logan landed some moves, but it wasn't enough as Royce won with a knee and a fisherman suplex. Not the greatest match. I've said it before, but Billie Kay and Peyton Royce need to either evolve their characters or just get called up to the main roster. We got video packages for the tag team title and NXT title matches. It was announced that Drew McIntyre will appear on next week's episode. Well, this week, I guess. Bobby Roode was approached after the match, but he didn't want to talk to anyone. Roderick Strong appeared. He blew a kiss and said, "See you soon." They then showed Bobby Roode's SmackDown debut last week. He was then asked what's next for him. He said that he's not done with Roderick Strong, and then he'll get his rematch with Drew McIntyre and win the NXT title back. We then got one final video package for the Hideo Itami Aleister Black match. Black was walking to his car and leaving the arena as reporters approached him. He didn't say anything. Main event, Pete Dunne, Wolfgang against Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. Bate and Dunne wrestled around a bit, a lot of reversals, a lot of mat wrestling there. Dunne distracted Seven as Wolfgang landed a huge takedown and the heels took control for a little bit. Tyler Bate got the hot tag. He hit Dunne with a delayed T-bone suplex, and then he spun Dunne around for like an airplane spin for a long time, and he actually went pretty fast. They recovered and traded strikes a little bit. Wolfgang made a blind tag. Tyler Bate hit Dunne with the Tyler Driver, but Wolfgang jumped off the top rope for a senton bomb and got the win. Great tag match. I enjoyed it. I like watching these UK guys. The crowd was into them as well. Otherwise, it was a pretty missable show. It's kind of the same with the post-NXT TakeOver shows, that they do a lot of video recaps, and the matches are somewhat meaningless. It seems harsh, but they didn't have any impact on the future episodes. You don't have any of the big stars on this episode, obviously, because it's taped before TakeOver. So next week is where things start to pick up again, but TakeOver Brooklyn was great. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. This show kind of just gave you the video highlights of it, which kind of entices you to go back and watch it. And if anything from this week, watch the tag match. It was fun, and I wish we see more of the UK guys in the near future. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter at bpiv_sports. Like, subscribe to the show on YouTube, and I'll try to be back at the end of this week with another episode. Peace.